Stand by, Phil. Stand by music. Stand by now.
3, 2, 1.
They're the Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks of Hobbs. American public, you are worthless.
Can't account for taste.
Nice. Your teaser from earlier on the loose
fantastic.
adaptation.
The Human Torch was denied a bankload.
Shove that Pulitzer Prize square up your ass.
I'm so happy.
I'm as best as you're gonna get, ladies. So here you go. We have. Shut up.
Then it's not a porn. Masturbatory bullshit. I get the joke now.
Hey,
Stupid,
kids.
wonderful thing. Yeah.
Here's some stickers.
Are you in the crosshairs of the woke mob?
To the bridge of Cosmic Doom.
What is happening in my mouth?
Pumpkin spice lattes. I was the mark, and you were the mark, man.
Yay. You want to get high together? You want to drink? Cinema. Subterfuge. Machinations. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Cheers.
Cheers. On that note, all right, so obviously Tim and I were talking about something else. Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of 20 Years, 4 Beers. We are a podcast dedicated to rewatching movies from at least 2 decades ago, while simultaneously enjoying a minimum of 4 modern beers. My name is Steve, and this is my big brother,
Tim.
And we are coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have just watched and recorded our episode on Seven. And as usual, we sit down and discuss another Brad Pitt film over another beer. So we refer to these as our happy hour episodes.
Hey, you guys. Happy hour is from 4 to 6.
On this happy hour, we will be finishing our look back to the dark Brad Pitt films of 1995 and covering the mind-bending time travel film 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys? I don't know how to describe it.
Where did we
I had a hard time describing it. 12 Monkeys begins in an underground prison in a post-apocalyptic world after a virus kills over 5 billion people in 1996.
Yikes.
So there's that. A convict is tasked with traveling back in time to research the world before it ended and possibly find clues to a cure in the future. As he jumps back and forth, he winds up in an insane asylum and meets the man who is believed to be the mastermind behind the pandemic, as well as a psychiatrist who he ends up falling for. I don't know, 12 Monkeys is hard to describe, and for some, it can be even harder to watch, but it still sticks with you for 30 years. The film was directed by Terry Gilliam, written by David Webb Peoples and Janet Peoples, and stars Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt, Madeline Stowe, Christopher Plummer, and David Morse.
There's the television. It's all right there. All right there. Look, listen, Neil, pray. Commercials. Not productive anymore, at least to make things anymore. It's all automated. What are we for then? We're consumers. Okay. Buy a lot of stuff. You're a good citizen. But if you don't buy a lot of stuff, if you don't, what are you then, I ask you? What? Mentally ill. Back, Jim, back. If you don't buy things, toilet paper, new cars, computerized blenders, electrically operated sexual devices, stereo systems with brain-implanted headphones, screwdrivers, miniature built-in radar devices, voice-activated computers.
Take it easy, Jeffrey. Be calm.
Right? That's right. You're a very attractive woman. So, if you want to watch a particular television program, say, like All My Children or something, you go to the charge nurse, you tell the day, the time, the show you want to see is on, but you have to tell her before the show is scheduled to be on. There's this guy, and he was always requesting shows that are already played. Yes, no, you have to tell her before. He couldn't quite grasp the idea that the charge nurse couldn't make it be yesterday. He couldn't turn back time, thank you, Einstein. Now he was nuts. He was a fruitcake, Jim.
That's it, Jeffrey. I want to get a shot. I warned you.
Right. I got a little carried away explaining the inner workings of the institution to Jim.
I don't really come from outer space.
Oh, L.J. Washington, he doesn't really come from outer space.
Don't mock me, my friend.
Get out of my chair!
Come on, not my beer.
with our reactions and verdicts to the movie out of the way, we move on to the reactions to our beers that we drank while rewatching our subject movie.
And if you want to have sex with a disgusting bad brewer with a terrible attitude,
This is where we take a look back at our beers and give our expert ratings for our drinking buddies.
ugh, whatever. Hey, here's the truth.
This is Drinking Buddies.
Let's get weird.
What do we got, Tim?
So the wonders of Costco recently have, and to their credit, put together a great option from Sierra Nevada, where it was 4 different beers from them, all double IPAs.
Really?
Yeah. So like basically a case of double IPAs for like $30. I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So enjoyed from Sierra Nevada their Hop Bullet Imperial IPA.
Yep.
Fantastic. A solid 4. Just a great kind of like a West Coast, kind of like more bitter option. And then their Hop Tonight, right? Imperial IPA. So again, double one. Again, 4. Like, spoiler, next happy hour will be the same thing. Enjoyed all those. They were great. Yeah, so all those options were just fantastic.
Yeah.
Cost effective.
Interesting.
High ABV. So
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me to Costco.
Well, they ran out pretty quickly, but yeah.
So
what'd you have?
oddly enough, I'm actually a little surprised by this. We've had virtually nothing from Wooden Hill Brewing, which is basically the closest brewery, second closest brewery to you.
Yep.
And like the third closest brewery to me. It's like between the two of us.
Pretty much in between us, yes.
It's not a bad brewery at all. In fact, the space is outstanding now. They've
Great
expanded.
space, yes.
So I think we've had like 1 or 2
It's like a
out of
barrel aged thing
500
we had.
beers, and then I'm not sure have we had one together? Because I know I had their code 3 or whatever on a thing, but maybe we've had one, which you would think like, oh, we'd have more than that. But anyway, but they don't distribute into liquor stores, so you have to buy from them. So that's why. So anyway, long-winded story later. I had 2 from Wooden Hill Brewing in Edina, Minnesota. So Wooden Hill Brewing Zest X, as an X-ray, Imperial Hazy IPA. It's an 8.4% ABV with Citra, Vista, and New Zilla hops. It was a 4. I was almost 4.25, but I went with 4.
Really?
Like it was good. It was kind of on the edge. It was the first beer I had after work, so I have to sometimes like curb that a little because the first beer after work is like
it's so much
delicious,
better. Yep,
right?
so much
So I had to
better.
bring it down a little. So 4 out of 5. And then the same from Wooden Hill. So I actually had 3 from them, and there was another IPA that I really liked. I liked a lot, and I forgot what it was. So I ended up selecting for this their 007 Bourbon Barrel Aged Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh, hell.
Which you would think is right up our alley, man. Like you would think.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing. I mean, it's
too
still
bad.
3.75 out of 5. But like, if you're going to tell me a bourbon barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stout, even in today's political climate, when maybe Ukrainian political stout would be more up our alley, I just could not. It was fine.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It was fine.
Yeah, you
it
went
was
really
like,
good. Yeah.
and I think what ultimately happens, and I think this is where a lot of breweries screw up. The base stout was the problem, not the bourbon barrel aging. It's the base stout, and so if you have a great base stout, right? Like we talked about, we're the adversary from Fulton, which we had a couple weekends ago. I don't know if you did. I did at the brewery.
No.
It's such a great stout. If you start with that and you barrel age it in coffee or
makes it
bourbon or
better.
whatever, oh my God, it's outstanding. So I think the problem was the stout itself.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? So it's 3.75.
Nice. And then this evening, to carry the theme from 7, is after having been in the St. Louis area.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with like St. Louis and serial killing, but for spring break, brought back some options, and one of them was the Divided Sky Rye IPA, which back in the day it was like all the rage.
There used to be more.
Like,
Yeah,
tons of them. I was like, I'll try it out. It was right now we're having it. It's fine. It's a 3.75.
Yeah.
For me, it's pleasant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm like I would probably say like our experience with Four Hands overall has been incredible. this might be the
It's
weakest,
the weakest of all of them.
right?
And it's probably the style more than anything. You know
True.
what I mean? Like, you're right. We had rye IPAs quite a lot.
Yeah.
Early
It's like,
on.
ooh, something different. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't like rye. I don't like rye bourbon. I don't like rye. Like,
Yeah.
I just like rye whiskey, I guess. But
true.
it's fine. It's drinkable.
It's
It's got a huge
pleasant.
bite to it. I appreciate that it's a 12-ounce can. Thank you
Mhm.
for not putting this sucker in a I would not finish a tall,
Tall
boy.
boy.
in this.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
So,
so I do
3.75.
appreciate that. It's
Nice.
But for a rye IPA, 4 hands, it's pretty solid.
Well done.
Yep.
If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
This is a social network
You don't have to be an intellectual property expert to understand the difference between right and wrong.
where we take a look back at the critical and fan reception from 2 decades ago.
Mark!
As usual, Tim takes point on this, so take it away, Tim.
You better lawyer up, asshole, because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything. $1 billion.
Yeah, he's so fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good.
IMDb rating is 8. Which is a nice solid
Solid.
8.
Straight up 8?
Straight up 8
Really?
out of 10. Yep.
This is a messed up movie. I'm
Yeah.
surprised it's got an 8.
Right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay.
All right, good for them.
Nick Hilditch of
Sure.
the BBC. Yeah, I
Yes,
figured,
indubitably.
Gilliam, getting myself a British
Sure.
critique, said director Gilliam's most mature film to date demands rigorous analysis
Yeah.
from the viewer. Add to this the director's grotesquely comic hallmarks, and the resulting film is a complex and rewarding fantasy. Kenneth Turn of LA Times said, mystifying, intriguing, even infuriating. 12 Monkeys shows what happens when an unconventional talent meets straightforward material. Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4. Said the movie is not a straightforward action thriller, and the plot of 12 Monkeys involves a time travel paradox. Almost all time travel movies do, but who cares? What's good about the film is the way director Gilliam, the actors, and craftsmen create a universe that is skewed toward one vision, which is a cold, dark, damp one. Yet it's more of a celebration of madness and doom, with a hero who tries to prevail against the chaos of his condition. And the Academy Awards that year up for 2 nominations for costume design and Best Supporting Actor for Brad Pitt.
Which I always feel like, excuse me, is that a combo?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he is good in this movie. We'll talk about
Yes.
it a little bit. But you kind of go like, you also did 7 and
Yeah.
this. Like, is this
It was
a
like,
combo
oh, he's
platter?
pivoting to like serious Pitt.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
he's
it's still
weird in
good,
this.
though.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
We begin our discussion with our reaction segment that we call Spotlight.
This is Boston, and the church does not want them to be found. So, they are not there.
This is where we highlight and discuss our top takeaways of any kind from rewatching our subject film.
We've got 2 stories here. We've got a story about degenerate clergy, and we've got a story about a bunch of lawyers turning child abuse into a cottage industry.
If there were 90 of these bastards, people would know.
Maybe they do.
This is Spotlight.
They knew, and they let it happen.
All right. Tim, why don't you get us started again on...
So I
'cause
have-
got to look at my handwritten notes from 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
when I actually wrote these. That's so... What do we got?
So I will always appreciate this movie, and I talked about it a high level when we covered 28 Days Later previously, where when lockdown
Can't wait till the
happened
next one comes out.
I know, I can't wait.
We're seeing that.
Oh,
I assume.
absolutely.
Okay,
You were
cool.
definitely.
Yeah, okay.
But in 2020 in March, when lockdown happened,
That's right.
and we're like, you know what? Don't know how long this is going to be, and we've got so many movies in our library.
Yeah,
That's
500
not pick and
movies.
choose. To start from the beginning, alphabetically.
Alphabetically.
We'll go here. First movie was 12 Monkeys, and then 28 Days Later. Both great, world-ending pandemic movies.
Good
and
start.
so great element to yikes. So watching it again, I told Ellen recently, hey, you want to watch? She's like, no.
No.
So just watch myself. I still have a special place in my heart of not great. I will say, I don't know, I'm not sure if I know what to make of this film.
I have a hard time with it.
And I have such a desire to like say, yes, so great what they're trying to accomplish and this and that. And I actually will probably talk to like what I think is good about it. And then I don't know that I can really find myself like becoming invested in it.
No.
So like aside from the whole like, oh shit, lockdown, like yikes, not great, like at the time, seeing it now this far removed and having appreciation about 30 years later, I'm really torn on this, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy to talk through like maybe some good, bad, or whatever. Like it didn't hit me the same way I thought it was gonna.
So I'm definitely glad we talked about this movie.
Yeah.
There are other 95 movies that we're going to end up not covering that maybe I probably would have rather talked about, to be honest with you. But
in hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, and after watching it, right?
True.
Yeah, I think like my first thought anytime I watch a Terry Gilliam movie, is I feel like I'm on the outside looking in. Like I miss the joke.
Yes.
Like I'm not suggesting, again, let's take Monty Python movies out.
True.
Of like, because I think he directed most of them, right? And like, so.
Well, he co-directed the first one.
Yeah, but.
And
like,
then not much after.
But like, let's just take anything like that.
Yep.
You know.
Yes.
You know, the Brothers Grimm. Like, that's weird.
Fisher King.
Fisher King. Fisher King is probably the most normal movie.
True.
But like, it's still weird.
I think I stopped Brazil half an hour. And
Brazil's
like,
not good. I think it's terrible. Like, there's the Imaginarium Dr. Parnassus. Isn't that him?
Yes.
Like, I feel like I miss the joke with most Terry Gilliam.
Yes.
So at least for this movie, I can follow along for the most part.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like, okay. And that probably is a testament to the writing more than anything. But like, you're bringing me along here. But man, every time Terry, I don't want to say first point, but the one that I'm looking at on my chicken scratch writing here in my notebook, because I forgot to type it out. He's a weird ass visionary because he has a vision.
Yes.
So like that on one hand, I go from a filmmaker's perspective, you have a vision and you want a filmmaker. I think we really we ache in a lot of ways for people with their own unique vision. And I'm putting this on film, but I don't know if I would ever want to have a conversation with this man. No. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
This is the world that you see in all your movies. Like, he's a weird ass visionary.
Yes.
I have the same thing with Terrence Malick. I have the same thing. Like, you're just like, he's just pretentious.
Totally.
At least Gilliam has like a sort of like fun, like sort of to him. But point is, man, he's just weird.
Totally.
And it's just weird. It's just especially the first half of the movie. The first half of the movie, I have a hard time getting there.
Yes.
It's a hard time to be like, where are we going with here? And that's the visionary side of Gilliam. The story takes over in the back half.
I agree. Like, so when I think of, and I think, Fifth Element for some reason was triggered when I was watching this. No surprise with Bruce Willis, main character, but like, I'm all about a visionary director, like sticking to what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only in as far as I can be like, is it still accessible from the audience? Where it's like, yeah, your vision is like great because like Luc Besson, whatever, can deliver.
Yeah.
And then you watch the 1,000 Planets one he had or whatever, and it was like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
This like, so not all visionaries can do the great work. So I agree. But yeah, I struggle so much with, the first hour is just a slog to get through. And I could like say, like kudos. Actually, one of the notes I made was like production design.
Oh man.
The grimy world they build.
It is. The production design is outstanding.
Like fully committed to that vision.
Sorry, did you say the costumes was the costumes in Pitt were nominated?
Yep, costumes.
The costumes are outstanding in this.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I agree. Like it is.
So like
production value
the
wise,
world
is
they
outstanding.
build is one of those like fan freaking tastic. And I give them like a lot of great credit for like, it's weird. It's super odd. Have at it. And yes, at the same time, I go, yeah, but I just feel so bored. The first hour.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
this weird flashback shit. Like,
Yeah. There's not a lot of what you need and what, say, like 7, say we just talked about, brings into, like, I'm immediately hooked on on your characters because you've given me a relatable thing for me to sort of connect to.
Yes.
I have no
No.
proxy in this.
No.
I have nothing.
No.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
And then you end up in an insane asylum, which, don't get me wrong, there's good parts to it.
Yeah.
And funny parts, like the chair.
Yes.
There's really well done parts, but I don't ever feel connected to any of these characters.
No.
So they lose me at that point in the
Yes.
first hour.
And so thinking of that, like watching it recently, I was like, okay, what stands out to me of like, I can appreciate this. I actually think, and I feel bad in many ways, like sad to see what's happening to him in the real world. But,
yeah,
you know, we talked about him somewhat high level with Sixth Sense. Like Bruce Willis,
yeah,
to me is so good in this.
Oh, yeah.
Like the flashy performance,
Absolutely.
Pitt, like great.
Yeah,
like,
Pitt's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's fine with that. But like at the time, huge star unto himself. Like, but this movie shows to me like you kind of forget how good he is as an actor.
Yeah,
where right material, right director.
I mean, doesn't he have an Emmy award or two from Moonlighting?
Moonlighting?
Probably. I mean, like I assume.
Yes.
I mean, he's a good actor.
Yes.
Like enough of this.
And I think he's definitely underappreciated in this.
Yeah.
Carrying that first hour.
Yeah.
Of like, yikes. If I didn't have him to carry me through, I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And so kudos to him, where he is such a, like, I wouldn't say accessible character, but you are along enough on the ride to be like, okay, where is this going? What's happening? The production value.
Yeah.
Back and forth. And then this, like, it's just definitely off-putting.
Yeah.
For the first hour, but I'm reasonably okay with it because of the work that Bruce is doing.
Yeah. I will say this. For me, the saving grace is if you're going to be off-putting, it feels purposeful.
Yeah.
It does feel like they're doing this on purpose to make me feel uncomfortable, to make me feel like the character.
Yes.
And sort of like, so from a filmmaking perspective, it actually does do a good job.
Yes.
Doesn't mean I like it, but they do a good job with their
I can
set up
appreciate
to
what they're
do.
going for. Yes.
And same thing with Bruce Willis. Like he brings in this sort of humanity to a person who never grew up, and we find out why at the end, but this is literally a child in an adult's body. Like he is he never grew up. He was stunted at, we find out why at the end, but he was stunted, and like, and then I assume he did something bad to become a prisoner just to survive or whatever. Like you just go, so he does such a good job of being he is crazy, but not like Brad Pitt crazy.
Yes.
Like Brad Pitt was crazy, or what's his name? But Brad Pitt was crazy because of just his life leading up to it. Or he was just sort of nuts. Bruce Willis is crazy because as a child, the world ended.
Yes.
And he had no ability to grow up as a normal human being. So he is just ultimately a child in adult form.
Yes.
So really well acted from a Bruce Willis standpoint.
And like the scene where he comes back, and I forget the year in question, maybe 96.
Well, 96 is the pandemic year.
91
but then when he goes
is
to it was like 90
year.
or 91 when he goes to the insane asylum.
Yes. So when he comes back in 96 and they're driving, it was 96. So like they're driving somewhere.
Yeah.
And he hears the songs.
Yes.
And he's so like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And like
he's childish,
yes,
right?
The air we can breathe.
Yep.
And it could have been cheesy. It really could have been like cheesy, but it's heartbreaking to see this character that is so drawn back to this world of like you have no idea what's coming your way.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And so
Yeah.
that like
You got no idea.
yeah. And so I just think kudos to him.
Yeah.
And like he again, the challenge I find in so many ways of this movie from an accessibility standpoint helps because of his work.
Yeah.
To get us in, I agree, as by proxy of like, what the hell is this? We go back, we go bounce around, like,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So I have a thought around like, I love movies that, for me, I think of like what works. Again, Ebert said like, oh, it's paradox. Who cares? I actually like the through line of this, where it's a variation of different themes you've seen in like time travel movies, where you know. Protagonists go back to try and stop something terrible or a cataclysmic event. And then by doing so, they are actually the agent of introducing what happens that they're trying to stop. And so, again, it's a paradox. I just really, having watching it, like, I always like that feeling in the film for me of like, oh, go back to study it, bring back what you can. But that pivot for him as a character to be like, no, actually, I think I can stop this.
Yeah.
But in doing so is the one that introduces the very thing that they're trying to stop.
Yeah.
And the like end of world thing. And so I just always appreciate this movie for balancing that pretty well with like, if they'd never traveled in time, would it have never happened? Like, again, it kind of melts your brain, but it's a cool concept.
I think what I like about this is, so if you think about time travel, there's a couple different ways to think about time travel, right?
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame talked about this, where if you go back and you change something, you've thus created a new timeline, so you can't really change the past. I get that. One thing I like about this movie is, it's the existential, I guess, question of cause and effect and time travel, because they even basically outright say you can't go back and change the future.
No.
They are going back to find what
like the pure
form of this to be able to have a cure in the future.
Yes.
To be able to like, so not stop this from happening. Nope. And I like, this is one of my favorite time travel movies because at no point does the time travel change the future.
Correct.
It's always, this is inevitable.
Yes.
This is going to happen.
Yes.
Bruce Willis has a memory of this happening.
Yeah.
He can't quite get there because it's 30, 40 years in the past or whatever. Yeah. And who remembers that, but like that I really appreciate from a time travel standpoint, which is obviously not possible. Like, I guess it is possible, but not likely.
Yes.
Like
theoretical
to say, yes, if you were to go back in time, you thus have just not change the future. It's just inevitable. Like you cannot change the past.
Yeah.
And I really like that this is, to your point, he does sort of fall for her, and then the situation suddenly comes up and he thinks, I remember this, now I can change it.
Yes.
And what we actually realize is I remember this and I am now creating the inevitability of the future.
Yes.
Like it's a mind F when you think about it, but I like that it's not Back to the Future. It's not Hot Tub Time Machine or whatever time travel you want to talk about. That has this rosy view of time travel. You can change your past and suddenly the future is going to be great. And you're going to be rich and powerful and famous. That's not the way it works.
No.
So I do like that in the mid 90s, they kind of have this idea that time travel is not what you think it is. It's not what the previous movies of the 80s and early 90s have talked about with time travel.
Yes.
So I actually really like that about it. It's that understanding of time travel.
I agree. It felt like this is just, you're beholden to what happened. You're not trying to change it.
Yeah.
So why even attempt to, make a difference? And this character is throughout being like, don't do this.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yes. It's not going to this is going to happen. So I like the fact of Willis's character feels like, no, I can maybe be an agent in the change here. So I'm maybe gonna flesh out more of like
Go ahead.
the things I struggle with. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I can remember much of seeing her and other stuff, but I gotta say I do not find Madeline Stowe to be a very good actress. She's fine.
She's like a whiny bee. Like she feels like a neighborhood Karen of a mom. We have watched her in something. She's very good in, isn't she? In We Were Soldiers.
We Were Soldiers, yes.
She's very good in that.
Yes. Very good in that.
Fake face and everything.
Yeah.
It
Sure.
is. She's very good.
She's had
in
a
that.
lot of work done.
So she is good in things.
Yes.
In this, she's kind of like just the sort of damsel in distress. Doesn't really bring anything
She
to it.
can't bring the weight
No.
that's needed for this character that is like, I'm like a psychiatrist. You're an MD? I don't think so. It's like when
You're like an intern at best.
it's like when Denise Richards
you
was like
blew
a
your way to the
neuroscientist.
top.
It's just like
Sorry, Richard, you're what?
Yeah, like when Denise Richards was like the nuclear scientist in like a Bond movie. Like,
yeah,
really? Yeah, like I don't think so. It just never felt real,
right?
In as much as a weird movie like this can feel. But then what I think compounds it is never for a second did I feel the romance that starts to build for me.
No, she's definitely she's definitely got her own trauma in the past.
Like it's,
and is willing to take love from.
There's some weird Stockholm syndrome crap happening.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I really struggle with like a better film, maybe better director,
maybe
casting,
.
Like, could be something that these characters really start to bond.
Yeah,
and I feel like, oh crap! Like maybe the inevitability of this could be countered, or I'm invested in trying to stop it.
Yeah.
Never for a second I feel like, oh, please try and stop this. Like,
right. Yeah.
As well as you're a freaking like academic about this, and she's been using this World War I picture, and then at some point later it's like, hey, this background picture I've never seen, like thought about before. Freaking Cole is there. Like it felt so, in that way, forced from the viewer standpoint of like, oh, she has to eventually come to believe the craziness and be like, I just don't really feel like this is earned.
No, the only saving grace is I don't think that the film relies on their love story or their sort of connection. It doesn't necessarily. I believe Willis can like have that connection just because he's like a child or whatever, and it doesn't flesh out her side. So I do agree on that, but I don't think it relies on a good movie versus bad movie because of their relationship. Like it's just sort of brings it along. But I will say on that sense, I do not like the flash forwards.
Yes.
In Willis's memory.
Yes.
I don't mind them bits and pieces, but not only knowing, I think they were striving to make it seem like a big reveal, which is kind of a good reveal in the way they play it out.
Yeah.
But it's like abundantly clear 15 minutes in that, that's Madeline Stowe.
Yes.
That he's dreaming about. Like, they don't even try to, like, they initially try to make it seem like it's not her as she's running, but it's like, they don't, it's that to me, a couple of little dreams about it would have been enough.
Yeah.
But boy, did they ham that up.
Yes.
That was way too much. It was way over the top. It's distracting. It makes no sense. And it's just laid out for me. Like,
Yes.
we talked about with 7, like, the script allows me to sort of fill in the blanks, whereas this feels like you're seeing this. Like, this is like
paint by numbers.
Right, exactly. So I did not like that.
The only flashback I really like is, I can appreciate is the somewhat red herring nature of it, where it seems to be a memory of Brad Pitt's character.
Yeah.
Saying like out of the way or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
and they do have that clip.
Like the clip. So like you can feel like, okay, his Cole, like the main, like Bruce's like character, like grappling with his mind, feeling I'm out of like time
Right.
and space, so memories might be not what they think it is.
Right.
So I like the fact that that's planted seed, but I agree. It could have been hinted at and then left alone for the entire movie.
Yeah,
but
with a couple of audio
Yes.
sort of reminders or whatever.
But as it becomes more and more in focus as he moves along, it's clear as day of like, you do realize your memories are clearly showing you you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly.
And the woman that you're seeming to fall in love with, who's loving you too, is gonna be there. Maybe don't do that.
Right. Yeah. Don't
Like,
show up.
Yes. Like you have so many things to not do. So I agree. It could have been a hint at it and then full reveal later.
Right.
Would have been great. Like really, really could have been, I think, more like emotionally resonant versus like, Jesus Christ, let's get to the fucking death. I actually struggle with a lot of the hospital sequences.
Yeah.
In 91 when he comes back. Like, and I would say actually, I think I have a somewhat pretty big critique of Pitt. Shot. I mean, I always felt like this was such a great. He's up for an Oscar. Like all these things. Watching it now again, I was like, oh man, this feels like you're trying really hard. Like a precursor to the Tyler Durden craziness.
Yeah.
In some ways,
Yeah.
that could be harnessed and focused by Fincher in like their second collaboration.
Yeah.
I found him really frustrating.
Yeah.
In the hospital sequences, like his like craziness, like it just felt like actory or like I am an actor doing crazy.
Oh, I didn't mind his performance. I minded the character.
And maybe it's like
his
for me, a
performance
combination,
is exactly what I assume Terry Gilliam and the screenplay wanted.
Like, do it up.
You are going to be over the top, crazy.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah.
He is like so. But I have a note on Pitt of just saying, like, I think at the beginning he is the stereotypical crazy.
Yeah.
At first, he is just sort of the just the twitchy or whatever. He does it well. Like, don't get me wrong, he does it really well.
Yeah.
And nobody throws his hands around his face like Brad Pitt does.
Yes.
Nobody does. I don't know. I think in the end, what saves me for him is that technically, in reality, he's not the bad guy.
True.
He is just a crazy person.
It's being definitely built to be like, this is the guy
right
that unleashes the world, like
right.
world-ending end.
He is just a crazy rich person's kid who can get away with what he wants because he's got a rich daddy who happens to be the owner of whatever. Like it is that's what I think for me is a saving grace for Pitt is he's not playing a crazy mastermind. He is playing a crazy person.
Yeah.
Like he is not like through the first half of the movie, you're kind of like, oh, I'm being told the Army of the 12 Monkeys, and it's going to be Pitt, and it's going to be Pitt, it's going to be Pitt. And it's not. Like it's just, and so that is what is the saving grace to me for his performance is if he were somehow the mastermind, I'd be like, we fucking deserve to die as a species. Like if that dude
breaks
is the
us down,
reason why, but to, I don't want to make it like modern times now, but if the distraction is what's gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Because he's the distraction.
Yeah.
So that
Meanwhile,
David Morse comes in and says, oh, yeah, everyone look over at this fucking idiot over here.
Yes.
I'm going to take this deadly virus now and have no problem getting it out of here because David or whatever, he's the crazy one. Like, look over here.
Like
so
true crazy.
that's the only saving grace to me for Pitt.
Sure.
Like his performance to me meets what they've asked him to do.
Yeah.
And that's where I don't mind. But it is from an Oscar nomination standpoint, I think it is a opposite of what characters he's been playing so far. He stands out. It's the same reason Leo got nominated for Gilbert Grape, which is a deserving nomination, but It's
True.
very anti
Yeah.
what sort of like
What they've done
what we
before.
thought was out
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah. that works. I just felt like relative to the Oscar nomination, like thinking through like,
Yeah.
really?
he
Like,
shouldn't have won. Like this
Oh,
is not a
God, no.
situation where
No.
it's like, oh, Brad Pitt should have won for that.
yeah.
You know, but like I don't mind that they nominated him for it based on the material we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just think, yeah, he's fine, and he does a good job with it though.
To that end, I think actually I do like the fact that, you know, it's pretty obvious from the viewer standpoint, but you think from a character like in that world standpoint, I do like, speaking of David Moore's character, like,
Yeah,
you go, no, that's the bad guy. Like that's like truly the
Yeah.
real threat
yeah,
of him coming in being like, oh no, like sign my book about this. Like he's the,
Yeah.
you know, like devil in like, you know, right in front of your face.
yeah,
To the level of, and I think we didn't ever talk about like Green Mile, but
yeah,
David Morse is such an underappreciated character actor.
totally.
Just solid, like delivers on everything he's had to do in the movies I think that he's been in.
Every one of them.
He's so great.
Yeah,
And
he's good in Contact around this time.
yeah.
Yep.
Like when I think of him in this, the look that he has on his face at the insane as it is, like airport security, like, hey, this seems like a weird biohazard. Can you open it for us? Like,
yeah.
What?
I had a huge problem with that scene.
Yeah, it's like
Yes.
so dumb.
If you really thought that was going to be some sort of weird thing,
Oh,
you would never.
It's
have
an
him
empty
open
vial.
it.
Just open it up.
Yeah,
And yet, what I think works for him, and again, credit to the actor, is
yeah,
this is what the character on paper wants.
yeah,
Is to release this agent onto the world.
yeah,
And yet his look on his face
yeah.
is like,
It wasn't his plan to do it right there.
No.
You know it wasn't his
it
plan.
was like, this
Yeah.
is kind of heartbreaking of like, I know I'm going to kill almost everyone in the world.
including himself,
And me.
we assume. Yeah, yep,
This is not what I thought it would be.
yeah,
And so in watching, I'm like, man, I definitely like have a new respect for like David Morse is
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
And the stuff he does. And I think that was a great misdirection as far as like, oh, here's
Right.
a crazy guy. Here's actually
yeah,
the
exactly.
true threat.
Here's the crazy. Look at
Yes.
me, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
And we're all fascinated by Brad Pitt. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Dave Morris is just like, coming over to kill you
I'm just
all.
going to
Have
grab
fun.
my awful virus, but
So on that note, I have just two last things I'm going to say,
Okay.
and I'll let you close this out. I do think what I actually kind of like about this is the fact that, okay, again, if you're listening to this and you actually want to watch this movie, speed ahead. But the fact that the Army of the 12 Monkeys didn't actually do jack shit
yes.
is kind of, to me, brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, misdirection.
Yes.
The 12 Monkeys. It's
Yeah,
the
the
movie.
army, yeah.
Army of the 12 Monkeys. They're up on the wall. They're like, and Bruce Willis is ripping off posters to find the Army of the 12 Monkeys. And it turns out to be some scientist dude who just has access.
Yeah.
Kind of brilliant.
Yes.
It's a great misdirection.
Yes.
Because all of that just almost is like telling me as a moviegoer, I should not have been paying attention the way that you were telling me to be paying attention.
Yeah.
Really well done. The last thing I will say is, what kind of institution plays animal testing videos amongst their... Like, this is where Terry Gilliam, I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
you're going to have an insane asylum in 1991 and they're just like showing animal testing videos
Yeah.
up top. Like, this is soothing. It's purposefully the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
I get it. It's
like Looney Tunes.
I get it, but like that's where I got really annoyed in the first part of it, where it's just like, ugh, just stop it.
Yes, exactly. The facility in no way is trying to pacify these
No,
characters.
not through therapy.
No, it's like antagonistic.
Yeah.
So, what I would say is
Excuse me.
perhaps the scientists maybe should have spent their time and minute resources working on a cure instead of cracking time travel. But hey, whatever. As well as they're like super weird and off-putting in the future. Again,
That's such Terry Gilliam. right
adding
there.
more like the hey, welcome back to like it's just like
Yeah.
you're just
Just weird.
insufferable.
Yep.
what actually I think I like when I think of the inevitability of this and the bouncing back and forth and the tragedy that it comes to the main character of Cole, is that I do like the fact that it's ultimately worth it.
Yeah.
So unfortunate for him, clearly, as we see, like, hey, he dies. And I was actually surprised, like the slight emotional feeling of like when she is covering his body and looks around the people and finds Cole as a younger boy.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like, again, could have been better, but still, like,
it almost feels like she knew in that moment, this is what Cole's talking about, so I know he is here.
Yes.
And then she finds him.
To find him.
I mean, again,
it's
the inevitability of time travel to me is
the resonance
is well done
piece. But yes, when the future doctor is one of the scientists is on the plane.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, here we go. And basically, I'm just here to get the pure sample. It is that nice final coda of like, it was worth it.
Yeah.
The insanity, the craziness, like, whatever happens. Like, so I'm happy that they had a slight note of like, again, even though I love the fact that we talked about 7 where it's bleak as hell.
Yeah.
And it's like just gut wrenching. Like, this felt for the story they're telling earned where his sacrifice was worth it type of thing. So I will say, like, I am happy they had it not end of like, oh, this is like a gut punch.
I know. But again,
but overall,
it's hard to like, we talked about with 7, like, it's a bleak movie and it's hard to recommend, but not for the reasons that this one's hard to recommend.
Yeah.
This one's hard to recommend because I'm not sure a lot of people I know would even enjoy this movie.
No, really?
And yet I actually enjoy this movie. Like, I don't
overall okay. Yes.
I think right. I mean, it's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
It's arguably Terry Gilliam's finest movie, like non-Monty Python related. Like,
true.
So you just go, it's a really hard thing to talk about because I don't even know how to like describe it. So yeah,
it's weird.
I guess we'll leave it at that.
Cool.
I'm going up there. I'm going to try it. I'm going to let the jury decide.
As we close out our spotlight segment, we come to our final takes called The Verdict.
If we are to have faith and justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
This is where Tim and I give our final verdicts after rewatching the film and decide whether or not the movie held up over the course of 2 decades.
Now you get out of here before I call a bailiff and have you thrown in jail.
This is The Verdict.
I said to hell with it, to hell with it.
All right, well, 12 Monkeys is a tough film for me because on the one hand, I feel that it is a really great film that showcases the craziness of a post-apocalyptic world. And also, I feel like in true Terry Gilliam fashion, it is just a mess. One thing is for sure, though, Brad Pitt used 1995 as a coming-out party to prove he could act.
Yep.
While I do remember liking this film more than I did on rewatch, that does not mean it is a bad movie overall. It is a visually stunning film that still manages to bring me in the second half, but I still am not sure what to think about it 30 years later, which maybe is what they wanted in the first place, which is more frustrating than I want to give them credit for. I have a 3.75 out of 5, though, which does mean it's a good movie.
Yep. A film I wish I could love. 12 Monkeys has so many great details, unfortunately undermined in some ways by Gilliam's directorial choice to lean hard into the really overly weird. Even if I, at the same time, oddly appreciate a director that fully sticks to their vision. Here's what I'll say. If you're looking for a great Bruce Willis sci-fi film set in a super weird future, watch The Fifth Element.
Yeah, or go find Unbreakable.
And true.
That's present.
Oh, yeah. And if you're looking for one with a time travel story device where someone from the future is trying to stop a terrible event in the past with a actually really well done, like budding romance type of like element to it thrown in, watch Looper instead. For me, 3.5 out of 5. Not terrible.
It's
not
so
one I can recommend.
It's a really hard movie
I can
to talk about.
Yeah,
it's so weird. It's like, and yet I'll maybe never watch this movie again in my life.
Probably never.
Like, it's so weird.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway. Cool.
The exciting quiz program 21.
Our final segment of the episode is Quiz Show.
I have stood on the shoulders of life, and I've never gotten down into the dirt to build.
Where in our research for our subject film, we find some interesting trivia nuggets that we hope will stump the other and possibly intrigue you.
This is not McCarthyism. You're not here to expose for the sake of exposure.
This is Quiz Show.
Well, evidently, certain of the contestants were given the answers in advance.
Cheating on a quiz show. It's like plagiarizing a
So,
comic strip.
I'm going to go first.
Do that.
Tim's got 4?
4, if I really...
If he really wants to be a dick about it?
Yep.
A janitor, if he really want to be a dick about it.
Yeah.
I'll go first. I don't think we're going to overlap on this one. So, Tim, fun Oscar fact. There have been 3 films that have started with the number 12 in their title to be nominated for Oscars. There's actually one more as a short film, but we're going to end like a
Sure,
foreign film. But
thank you.
Mainstream sort of like films that have started with the number 12 that have been nominated for Oscars. As we mentioned, 12 Monkeys had Best Supporting Actor and Costume.
Yeah.
Can you name the other 2? This should
12,
be easy.
12 Years a Slave.
That's correct. Also, winner of Best Picture.
Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress.
Yeah, Lupita, and I think a couple others along the way. Yep.
Yeah, director maybe.
No, I don't
maybe
think McQueen won. But yeah,
12. 12 Angry Men.
There you go.
There we go. Nice.
12 Angry Men. There you go. There's my contribution
Angry White
to
Men.
this.
So a bit of a difference from 12 Years a Slave. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go
Exactly,
through
yeah,
these.
polar opposites.
Yes.
Right?
We hinted at it, but like co-screenwriter David Webb Peoples.
Yeah, we didn't talk about him.
Yep.
Like I will say, we should have, and now
But
you probably have some
here-
trivia.
yeah.
Okay,
Has
all right.
only 3 notable films to his credit.
Yeah.
One of them being this, 12 Monkeys.
Mhm.
The other 2 films are a groundbreaking 1982 sci-fi adaptation and a 1992 Oscar-winning Western.
Yeah.
For which he was nominated for an Oscar.
It's so crazy,
right?
It is Blade Runner,
Yes.
which we've talked about, and then Unforgiven.
Right?
It is like, how are
Those
these
are your 3
films?
movies? Yes.
It is so
I had no idea.
weird. I was like, I didn't either, and I looked at him on the IMDb, and I was like, wait, what?
Yes.
Like Unforgiven, which you finally watched
Just
recently.
finally watched this year.
Outstanding film.
So good.
Outstanding film.
So good.
It is so good, and you just go, and then Blade Runner, which
Yes.
has been up and down for us for over the years, which I
Yes.
think we've landed on. It's a classic.
Yes.
Come
around to it.
But yeah, what?
What the hell?
And
Such a
to
weird...
his credit, this is a well-written,
It
well
is.
thought out movie.
Yes.
Like this is not all of our issues. None of our issues have a problem with the
No.
screenplay in this.
No.
Him and his wife. Yeah, of
Correct.
all the freaking
Right?
movies, it's
I was
so
like,
random.
how is this your 3 main movies?
I
Blade
know.
Runner, Unforgiven,
Have that
and
shit
12 Monkeys.
framed on your wall
Yeah.
and just lay in front of it.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So director Terry Gilliam.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got it. Rose to fame as a founding member of Monty Python.
That's also correct.
Like we talked about, co-directing the comedy troupe's first film, Monty Python: The Holy Grail. Yet he is the only non-British member of Monty Python, having been born in America. Care to guess which U.S. city Gilliam was born in? A city mentioned a few times near the end of the film.
Is it Philadelphia or Boston?
No, that's where it takes place.
Okay. What is it?
What city are we in right now?
Minneapolis?
I shit you not. He was born in Minneapolis.
When did they mention it in the movie?
It's a flight that's being from
got
Philadelphia
it.
to Minneapolis. I was
Okay.
like, what? I had
he
no
was
idea.
born here.
Exactly.
I would rather claim him than Bob Dylan, so that's fine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Minneapolis' own Terry Gilliam.
I
Yes.
should have known that.
He was
But all
born
right,
here?
Yeah. I'm sure he
A
was
few years.
raised. Yeah.
Then he moved to L.A.
Yeah, exactly.
And then moved to
like most
London.
Minnesota
Yes.
claimed people.
Yes.
They are not actually.
And he's
from-
given up his U.S. citizenship. But yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
What-
So, okay.
I wouldn't mind doing that right now either.
Buckle up.
Okay.
Ready?
Clinch. Yeah. Gird your loins.
So 12 Monkeys composer Paul Buckmaster. It's kind
Great
of a
name.
weird score.
Great name.
He really has no other notable films to his credit.
Can't wait.
This is just it. But he had a prolific career composing orchestral collaborations with hold on here, countless musicians, including David Bowie, Rolling Stones, Carly Simon, Miles Davis, Grateful Dead, Stevie Nicks, Lionel Richie, Guns N' Roses, Heart, Counting Crows, Celine Dion, Faith Hill, Tim McGraw, Carrie Underwood, T-Swizzle, Taylor Swift, and Train, whose Drops of Jupiter won him his only Grammy in 2002. Yet...
Fuck that song, man. All right.
It's so dumb. Again, huge career. Yet most of us would recognize his work having collaborated on 9 albums and 52 songs with one of the biggest rock stars of the 70s, an artist whose song is prominently featured in the film from our first episode, which we are going to cover in the director's cut later this year. Can you name this legendary rock star, which he had a massive collaboration with?
Over how many albums and songs?
9 albums and 52 songs.
In the 70s? I mean,
sir.
Elton John, I
There
guess.
you go.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
like, I'm assuming like,
Yes.
okay.
So the random
That
composer.
elaborative-
Oh,
yeah,
we
okay.
got there. The random composer of 12 Monkeys, the Tiny Dancer, and
Huh.
all the other orchestral stuff of Elton John is that. dude.
Yeah. Stay tuned for our special
Rewatch
anniversary
of the
episode
director's
Rewatch
cut.
5 years on.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We got to find a barrel age something for that, too.
Oh, we will.
All right. I'm going to crash at your place. Anyway, you got one more, or is that it?
No, the other one's pretty shitty.
You're going to tell me anyway, so you might as well tell me on...
One of Gilliam's films has only one of his films has resulted in an Oscar win. Can you name the 1991 dramedy starring Robin Williams and the Best Supporting Actress winner from that film?
Fisher King, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Who was the actress in that, though?
Mercedes Rule.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That would have been the...
Who didn't know Mercedes Rule? I mean, come on. There we go. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Be sure to find all of our previous episodes on your favorite streaming platforms and stay tuned for upcoming episodes on 40-Year-Old Virgin and Wedding Crashers. I'm not sure which one is which in terms of like what we're going to watch together,
Yeah,
but we'll
figure
figure it out.
Yep.
Find us on the web via the metaverse of Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, and head to 20years4beers.com for more info. We want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and for clicking that like or subscribe button on your devices. This has been 20 Years 4 Beers. My name is Steve.
I'm Tim.
And thanks for listening. Thanks. I don't know if I would ever want to have a conversation with this man.
They're like super weird and off-putting in the future.
How are
Those
these
are your 3 movies?
films?
Yes. I don't know that I can remember much. Yeah, but I just feel so bored.